There's Purdy in the gun. 3 receivers left. Kittle, Jennings, Debo from in to out. Ayuk is right. Purdy back. Time. Steps around from DeMarcus Lawrence. Throws for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Boy, what a start. First drive for this offense.
They got CeeDee Lamb, the number 3 receiver inside. Now he goes in motion right, followed by Isaiah Oliver. 49ers are tipping man on 3rd and 2. Dak back. Plenty of time. Pumps. Now rolls left. Now he's going to get sacked by Fred Warner and Javon Kinlaw. He's getting the ball out of his hands quick against everybody but the Niners. He held the ball way too long. Here's an end around and a flea flicker. Back to Brock Purdy. Takes a shot down the sideline to George Kittle. Kittle all the way to the end zone. Touchdown!
Faithful to the Bay. Make some noise. It is Monday. It's the Wayne Breezie Show. We are back after a wonderful weekend, which kicked off for us on Thursday. We celebrated on Victory Friday. Round of applause to you. It's me, the Niners. We're going to talk about it because this is a good thing, right? Because the 49ers, they reign supreme in the NFC West. They reign supreme in the NFC. They reign supreme in the NFL. Yeah, everybody that's at the top of the league, the 49ers at 4-1, doing it without starting players. It's just so amazing. You got to give the 49ers a round of applause. And we're going to talk about that on today's episode. Like, how good is this 49ers team? That's the ultimate question, right? Like, how good is this team? Because right now, I really believe we're still at the floor. We're not even close to the ceiling. I mean, our starting quarterback isn't playing. Our starting tight end isn't playing. It's just a lot of people starting top. All 3 of our top wide receivers aren't playing. There's no Ayuk. There's no Jennings. There's no Ricky Pearsall. Hopefully he'll be back this week. And the Niners are finding ways to win. They made an adjustment early in the season. And we'll talk about all that. But guys, again, thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Wayne Breezie Show. Smash that like button. Hit it, baby. Hit it with a boom bip with a brother named Tip. And we're ready to flip. You already know what time it is, man. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If this is your first time watching, make sure you click on the subscribe button. It's like a clicker. You click it, and it'll do a little animation, I think, if you click on the subscribe button. Also, make sure your alerts are set to all, right? Not just have it on, because it'll be like, it will give you some of the shows. No, put all of the shows on for your boy Breezy. And if you want to take it up another notch, you want to support the channel, with money. You want to support just become a member of the Breezy Bunch crew. All you got to do is click on that join button. There's several tiers that you can click on, and boom, you'll be in the Breezy Bunch crew. You'll get all the cool perks that we have to offer, especially the early show shout outs, which we about to get to right now. What's good? Faithful in the building. If you're feeling good, let me hear you say, yeah. 49ers throwback in the building. Happy Monday, Faithful. Please hit that like button. You know what it is? It's a Victory Monday. That's exactly what it is. Why is it a Victory Monday? Because we won on Thursday, and we got to celebrate our opponent, we got to celebrate some of the teams losing on Sunday. So for the Niners, it's still a mother freaking victory. 49er Jeff, the 4-1 club, another big game this week. Doesn't it seem like 49er Jeff is just big game after big game? It's like the Niners continue taking like big exams every single week, and they just got to go out and figure out a way how to pass the exam. And that's what we're getting from the San Francisco 49ers week in, week out. Don't bother me in the building. Boat 16-1. Click, click. Boom. I love it, man. I love it so much. Oh, we got to get to matchups. There's going to be some crazy matchups. I already feel like this game's going to be a shootout. Remember that New Orleans Saints game? On the road, Jimmy Garoppolo with the kick of Robbie Gold. That's when we started the good as gold. Maybe we'll get the Eddie De Niro Pinheiro finish in Tampa Bay. I just feel like it's going to be a shooter. Now, I do think that the Niners defense is better than some of the defenses Tampa has faced. That Seattle Seahawks defense lost just about everybody they could think of in their secondary in that game. The Niners are pretty stout, and they may be getting a person back to their secondary. We'll talk about that too, man. But back to the shout-outs, man. Niner Faithful in the building. What's going on, Niner Faithful? I see you out there, one of the moderators to the channel. My man, Oscar, hashtag Good Morning Faithful. Didn't think I'd be saying this, but it feels good being the best team in the NFL, at least record-wise. 49ers are number one. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and be super happy because there are a lot of things that the 49ers still need to work on. And I will tell you, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly to close out the show. And yeah, we won that game. After watching the film, it was some stuff I was like, damn, like we need work. You know, there's a lot of things we need work on. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to present to you, you know, even though we're winning, we can still be better. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Even if you did think something was wrong with that, I wouldn't really give two flying. Eddie G and the B-Dogs, what's going on, baby? Feel you out there, man. Crystal Peachy Brown in the building. Happy Monday, Breezy. Have a great show, everyone. What's going on, Peachy? Good to hear from you. Matthew, if a quarterback controversy happens to arise, don't forget, Hector is running 3 Honda Civics with spoon engines. He just went to Harry's and ordered 3 T66 turbos with NOS and only thing I understood in this whole phrase was the NOS because I watched Fast and Furious. Motec exhaust. Wow, this sounds great. Like it sounds amazing. You know what I'm saying? It sounds amazing. Dion, what's going on, baby? I hope all is well with you. Brandy in the building. Good afternoon, faithful. Brandy, congratulations to the New England Patriots for helping make the 49ers first place. Round of applause. Patriots. I bet you every 49er fan right now is a Patriot fan. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Them Patriots knocked off that juggernaut of a team. You know, that game, you can never pick that game. You pick the team that you feel like is going to be the better team, and always the Patriots, they just own the Bills. It's like they own the Bills. It doesn't matter if the Patriots was 0-97. If they play the Bills, they find a way to beat the Bills. That's my dumbass fault picking the Bills to win. But the Bills were undefeated, so I have a rule. When a team is undefeated, I don't pick against that team until they get knocked off. And then that's usually what happens. But congratulations to your Patriots, man. What a win, man. What a win. What a game. What a finish. You look like the Niners out there. Terrible. But you found a way to win. Like, no lie. Tanisha in the building. Good morning, Breezy Brunch. It was good being able to sit back and not stress over my Niners on Sunday. Cardinals lost, Seahawks lost. All checks, drop the bomb. Woo! Yeah, man. We're not only number one in the NFC West. We're not only number one in the NFC. I think the Niners, because they're top of the division, 3-0. I mean, undefeated in the division means something. I always say you win the division, you're setting your road for, you know, and it can turn. It could turn. But aren't you kind of like, are you like me? I'm like, all right. We beat the Rams. We beat the Cardinals. We beat the Seahawks. Those 3 teams are the only teams that really, really matter to me. Now, I don't want us to lose a game, period. But my point is, I just don't feel like that season where the Seahawks, the Rams, or the Cardinals are going to beat the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm saying that because the Niners beat all 3 of these teams like unhealthy. Like, I mean, Brock Purdy started the first game of the season. That's the game he got hurt. George Kittle didn't finish that game. It was just weird. But whatever. We won. At the end of the day, we won. God dang it, we won. Drew over on Facebook. What's going on, man? It's good to see Facebook in the building. Hopefully Twitter's in here as well, or X, whatever you guys want to call it. Or whatnot. But all right, look, I don't like to prolong stuff. Thank y'all for being members of the Breezy Bunch crew. That's our early show shout outs. And as members join later, they get the shout outs, man. It's part of what we do, of being a member. So I appreciate you guys on your contributions over the years. All right. And shout out to, I love my subscribers too, but one of the perks you get for being a member is you get the shout outs. Now listen, exclusivity on Patreon. Now I don't promote Patreon as much, but shout out to our sponsors over at Residency. You can go to www.residency.com. They got a crazy nice sale going on. They also have apparel now, so they got hoodies, they got sweatshirts, like the crew neck sweatshirts. They got the tees. They got hoodie too. And the players are rocking it. So go over there, get your stuff. Use my promo code. That one right there, SF Breezy. You can save on your total purchase. And as far as the exclusive content on the Patreon, we got the watch party there now. The film studies are just getting better and better. And you don't want to miss out on that stuff. So go to the Patreon. That's where it is. That's where it's available. It's not just here on the live streams. It's there. And if you want to take advantage of it, just go over to Patreon. Boom, sign up. Boom, boom, boom. We in there. All right, we in there. Let's get to some 49ers news and updates. All right, so news came out over the weekend because the Niners have a few days extra off now. Week 6 is approaching, and we're going to talk about Malik Mustafa. We're going to talk about George Kittle. Now, the report was that George Kittle, it's like a long shot for George Kittle, to be available for the San Francisco 49ers. I'm like, in week 6. Let me make sure I put that disclaimer out there. And I'm like, dang, not a long shot. Why couldn't it be a short shot? Why it got to be a long shot? All right, so 49ers tight end George Kittle is considered to be a long shot for this week. All right, so home game, week 7, Atlanta Falcons may be the target date of George Kittle returning to the San Francisco 49ers. All right, now, I will say this about the San Francisco 49ers tight ends room. Shout out to Brian Fleury, I believe the tight ends coach. He's doing a hell of a job. Jake Tonjes, 3 touchdowns on the season. Luke Farrell got a TD this year. That's 4 touchdowns combined from the 3 tight ends that are on the active roster. Nothing from Braden Willis. But George Kittle will come back in, and I think it will help enhance a lot offensively, right? Like the blocking, the run blocking in particular, the red zones threats and targets in particular, that red zone percentage, scoring in the red zone. There's a lot of things a lot of areas the Niners need help in still. But, we won't be able to, hopefully we'll get to see this week 7. So how you guys feeling about that? George Kittle potentially not being available to week 7 for the San Francisco 49ers? Or do you feel like y'all want him to travel with the team? Because you got a big game coming up this week. It's not a cake in the park or a cakewalk game or anything like that. It's a big game. We're celebrating that the Niners are in first place. And if the Niners want to remain dominant and in first place, they want to start getting some of their key pieces back, right? But he's not playing this week, so there's nothing we can do about it, right? At the end of the day. So it is what it is. But the Niners got to figure out another way to win and beat Tampa Bay without a key piece on the offensive side. And all week I'm going to be telling you how the Niners can do it. And I promise I will never, ever pick against the 49ers again. I don't care if we lose all 53 men and got to get all 53 new men. The Niners are going to win every game. 17-0. Well, 16-1. That's the new thing. So hopefully week 7 we'll get some George Kittle action against the Atlanta Falcons team. And let me just say that the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints, they play the Niners tough because they are former NFC West teams. So they always play the Niners tough. It's like the funniest thing, 49er media says, don't rush them. Don't rush them. I agree. Don't got to rush George Kittle back. You're getting production offensively from the tight ends, but the run game is still suffering. The Niners rush for 74 yards. The Niners have one game, which was week 1, over 100 yards in totality rushing. The Niners are just struggling in the run game. I think George Kittle being back will definitely change that up a little bit. All right. So George Kittle, week 7. Let's get to the Malik Mustafa, because Mustafa, they're hoping the team's going to be opening up that practice window today. And I'm going to tell you right now, Malik Mustafa returns to the 49ers. Well, you know what? Slow down, Breezy. You killing them. Let's just get, we just want to get Malik back in action, right? All right, so the 49ers are hoping to open the practice window for Malik Mustafa off the PUP today. Now, that doesn't mean he has to be activated. I believe they get a certain amount of time before you have to activate them once you open up that practice window. I feel like it's like 14 days or 21 days after you open up the practice window. All right, so the Niners still will have up to 3 weeks before they before they make him active on the active roster. But I tell you right, I'll tell you one thing, if there's one area that I feel like the San Francisco 49ers need improving, it's at the safety position. That's the only area that I feel like is struggling on the 49ers defensively. Obviously the pass rush still, but that safety area. And the last game, whew, man, they picked on them. They picked on Marquis Siegel so many times. It was just like, oh, no, not so many times. Mike, what's going on? Woke Mike in the building. Love the avatar, too. That's my brother from another mother, man. Appreciate you, man. He said, Breezy changed the counts. Did I? I hope I didn't. Did you? It's all good. So 21 practice day window. Thank you, Niner Faithful. I knew it was 21 days. I knew it was a factor of 7. That I did know. We got a super chat that we want to share. Also, 49er Jeff, member for 31 months, wants to give a shout out to our great coaches. Great job. Shout out to our coaches. Round of applause to the coaches. The coaches never get love. We're always talking about how the coaches could be better. He said coaches, so I'm going to even say Brant Boyer from the Jags week to last week, the Rams week. What a difference in night and day. I think special teams, PFF wise, I think special teams had the highest grade. Like no cap. Like I think special teams was the highest grade. Hold on, let me just double check. Special teams grade overall. Let me see if I can find it. Wow, Jordan Elliott he almost had a block. Special teams had the highest grade overall than the offense, defense, and whatever. Special teams was on point. I thought special teams got better just because Darrell Luter Jr. returned to special teams. I mean, that became your gunner. And I know we're going to talk about Isaac Orindo potentially fumbling the ball, but whatever. G Code with our first super chat of the day. Travels Vlog POV. Thank you so much for your super chat contribution. They go a long way. Trust me. Biggest move, let go Adam Peters, draft 2 years. I think, and it was hard to let go of Adam Peters, right? It was tough. And Adam Peters, don't get it twisted. Adam Peters is doing his thing over there. Like he's doing his thing over there. You know what I'm saying? And in Washington, he's doing this thing over there in Washington. So, but it was tough letting him go because we weren't sure how we were going to. We always thought that Adam Peters was the guy that found the gems in the draft, and now we're starting to see maybe the Niners was always the reason why. Maybe John Lynch was always the reason. Like we don't necessarily know, but the 49ers scout teams and general manager John Lynch, they're doing a tremendous job. We're definitely finding gems in these drafts. We missing on some players. Don't get it twisted. There's been some misses, a lot of misses. But there's also been a lot of gems that I think that they're finding. So Peters, peace out. You know what I'm saying? Happy belated birthday to little bro, man. 49er Media's birthday was on Saturday. Happy belated birthday. Happy birthday to you, man. I hope you're doing well. I know you're in school doing the damn thing, so continue to strive hard and put out that 49ers content and sports content that you're doing. I know this is something that you love to do. This is one of your passions, and you know I'm here with you every step of the way if you need me, bro. But happy belated birthday to you. Mosquito Killer, one of our moderators on the channel, says, Breezy, so you think he replacing Siegel or Pinnock? I think he replaces Pinnock, and Pinnock goes back to special teams. I don't know. Like, I love Marquis Siegel. It's a great question, and he's always in the right position. And at that, you know, if you're 6 to 7 weeks in, I'm not about to replace the kid. I'm not. If you're 6 to 7 weeks in, I'm going to let the kid continue to ride out, go through the bumps and bruises, you know, and let him figure it out. Because at some point, like, he going to realize, oh, I got to turn my head. Oh, I got to try to make a play on the ball. Oh, once the game slows down, Siegel is going to be a phenomenal safety in this league. And if the Niners are continuing to figure out ways to win and they're taking their bumps and bruises with a catch given up by Siegel or a touchdown given up by Siegel or a catch given up by Stout or a touchdown given up by Stout, if they're taking their bumps and bruises with that, I could live with it. Those kids are going to be, those kids are young and they're improving week in and week out. Poor Marquise Siegel, though, because oh shoot, we got to play Baker Mayfield. Like if this is a week, start K. Otten if you play fantasy football, because these tight ends are getting the best out of Marquise Siegel in the red zone. And now down the field, you're starting to see wide receivers. I mean, young kid had to deal with the speed of Tutu Atwell. There's an explosive play that you can catch on the Patreon giving up in overtime. And it was like, damn, Siegel, like his eyes must have got caught. He was playing the deep safety. They showed cover 1. Then they probably ended up in like cover 3. He was playing the deep safety, and the angle was slightly poor. But then he had to deal with speed, and it was just like, so he's got to learn angles. But I love everything that I'm seeing from Marquise Siegel. Like, you know what I mean? He can be. He getting picked on, but rightfully so. He's the rookie. Like, what defensive coordinator wouldn't pick on a rookie? Oh, I know, Kyle Shanahan. He doesn't pick on rookies. I don't get it, but like that's what I get. But Malik Mustafa, just to say that, like when he returns, tackling will improve. The run defense will improve. I mean, this is what we want, right? And Jason Pinnock's been doing a good job, but I don't think he's done anything that says that he should remain the starter if the starter clears and comes back healthy. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion on it, you know. So thanks for asking that question, though. Felicia, what's going on, sis? We're number 1 without even playing. Says, I'm so happy everyone in our division lost. Philly lost in the conference. What a freaking weekend. I know. All we needed was Tampa to lose, but they were playing the Seahawks, so we wanted the Seahawks to lose. It was weird, right? Like, I know we never go for the Seahawks, but it was just one of those games where I kind of wanted Tampa to lose just to knock them off their high horse just a little bit, but bump it. Seahawks lost, clear number 1 in the NFC West. I'll take it. Now you got to deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who will be coming in banged up and bruised. Like, you know, let's not get it twisted. Oscar, he says, Wayne and family, if y'all can trade for 3 positions, what are you addressing? All right, it's a great question, man. I love these types of questions. He says, me, defensive end Cam Jordan or Will McDonald. Center Eric McCoy from the Saints or Aaron Brewer from Miami, and running back Kamara or Pollard. All right. I don't have this in my wheelhouse at the moment, but I'm definitely going to assess your traits, because I do like the way you came about this. I do. I'm not gonna lie. So the 3 areas where you feel like that needs improving is what you assessed. And I like that you saw the running back. So I'm just curious, are you willing to give up, if you're going to trade for Kamara? And I don't want to factor in all the money and stuff like that. I don't got time for that. But are you willing to give up, obviously, the Brian Robinson? Would he be included in that trade? I'm just curious to know if that's something that you were thinking of, kind of like player for, you know, on an expiring contract, opposed to taking on Alvin Kamara, who's, I think he's dealing with last year's on his deal as well. So he's definitely looking to go to a team that's going to compete. I mean, I was just like 52% of the snaps he took, and then Kendre Miller took the other percentage of the snaps. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? Like, they're doing something weird in New Orleans. So I could tell that he's ready to be on the out, or he's going to be traded. I could tell just by the snaps. But to go back to the end, that's to me, that might be the biggest checkpoint. Niners did have 16 pressures in this game, 1 sack, 16 pressures in this game. So that's definitely a big difference, going from 5 pressures to 16 pressures. So we'll give the Niners that. So 16 pressures against the Rams. That's good for the Niners, right? I would say that's pretty good for the San Francisco 49ers. They get 16 pressures. Again, 1 hit, 1 sack. So he only really touched the quarterback a couple of times, and now you're making him run. And if you get a quarterback that can move and throw on a run, that quarterback can still be effective. So, you're dealing with the injury to Yetur Gross-Matos, and we'll get to the injury report. I'll pop that up here as well. I mean, that's where it gets tricky, because this cat's going to miss some time with a hamstring injury, and now you're just wearing thin on your rotation at defensive end. I do want to shout out Travis Gibson, who was there to get that fumble recovery. So shout out to Travis Gibson on the fumble recovery. Drop a bomb on his name real quick. And I think he needs to be on the football field more, potentially. But if you want to know who led the game in pressures, it was Bryce Huff with 4. And then you got 2 from Sam O. You got 2 from Jordan Elliott. You got 2 from Yetur Gross-Matos. So now Gross-Matos being out with this hamstring injury, we don't know how severe it is. We don't know if it's a tear. We don't know how much time he's going to miss. This is where it's going to get tricky, because now the question is, well, who are we going to use? Travis Gibson didn't have any pressures in this game. As much as I like him, he had 0 pressures in this game. And then the Niners only have the other defensive end I believe they have on their practice squad is William Bradley King. And so now you're just inserting guys that just obviously they need time, they need reps, they need snaps. So, or do you go out and trade, like Oscar said, and get a proven commodity? I mean, the Cam Jordan, I'm not sure how much he has left on his deal. Love the Will McDonald trade, because the Niners, that's a Robert Saleh guy for sure. I think he brings just a freakiness to his game, hella athleticism, good outside on setting the edge. Not your big defensive end like a Nick Bosa, but definitely can make plays in the backfield, so tackles for losses will be there. You already got the Michael Williams, so you probably want to, change it up a little bit. So I think Will McDonald be someone that you definitely can look to trade for. I mean, there's still the Kayvon Thibodeau rumors out there, but the guy that I really would go out and really look to try to trade for. I mean, I see you went to Miami for the center, Oscar, but why not go after Bradley Chubb? Why not? Why not? The Niners are 4-1 with a beat-up team, and they can potentially be 5-1. You got a couple of weeks to that trade deadline. You got the Falcons after the Bucks. I know we got to play the Texans in there. Why not? Why not? Why not go out, get a guy that is going to be serviceable, someone that a team has to game plan for, not someone that can just come in and just be rotation, but the team literally has to game plan. Bradley Chubb I think he had a fumble, intercept, something in this last game. He's still making plays out there on the football field. So if I had to go edge, if you wanted to go young, you go Will McDonald, but then you got to think about contract soon, or you could go with the vet like a Bradley Chubb and pay whatever money. Niners got money, so it ain't like they not they strap for cash or whatever like that. I don't know. We don't want to tie up so much money, you know what I'm saying? But the Niners got bread, The Niners got bread, in my opinion. So why not spend it on one of these guys? I still think that on the defensive side, up front is key. Like some of those Marquis Siegel. All right, let me just say this about Siegel. I really love this kid, okay? Now, I know he's getting beat, but I wonder how much of that's because of the pressure up front. And just imagine, Matthew Stafford was having time to dial up the ball to go down the field. They had 7 explosive plays in the air. 7 plays that went for 20 yards or more in the air. That's ridiculous. We never see that on a Robert Saleh's defense. But the pressure up front, to me, Oscar, is still key. They got to fix that, man. They got to fix it. They got to fix it. But it ain't no minor tweaks, no minor adjustments. Look, I love everything about Bryce Huff and what he's bringing. Sam O started the game off with a penalty. That kind of took him down. But he still was productive, played 51 snaps. But Bryce Huff is not playing 68 snaps, He's 40 snaps max if you want him to continue to max out. Max 40 snaps. He played 40 last game. I really don't want to see him over there. They got to figure out that. They do. Michael Williams, kind of ineffective in the pass rush. Still great as a run stopper. Man. It's crazy. But back to the injuries, Upton Stout. Now he has an ankle injury. It's not a high ankle sprain, but he's listed day to day, so we got to see how that goes. Kalia Davis is going to miss time. He's had surgery on his hand. We're talking about the hamstring to Gross Matos. He's going to miss time. And big Alfred Collins, a lot of people picked the player of the game. With the club, the Donkey Kong smash, the Mike Tyson punch out, the knockout to give his team an opportunity to win. He's dealing with the knee sprain. So it's just like, the Niners didn't get out of this game unscathed. You know what I'm saying? Unscathed. All right, Oscar says to go back says that the Dolphins will require a first rounder, if not a second. He's also owed $31 million in 2026. Yeah, the Niners not going to do that. So you can cancel that off the books because the Niners are already going to be on contract for the big Nick Bosa joint. You know what I'm saying? And so Cam Jordan, I think, kind of makes sense as far as money-wise. I was just thinking of production-wise. Even with the Trey Hendrickson situation, that's another guy they can probably look into depending on – because he's on the last year of his deal. I thought he reworked his deal to become a free agent on next season. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. And Cincinnati is just withering away. They're just withering away without a quarterback. So it's going to be fun to watch, yo. It's going to be fun to watch. All right, so the Niners are going to definitely need some help with these injuries, and we'll see how they pan out, throughout the season and things like that. It's going to, throughout this week, for practice. But let's kind of recap because we talked about the game, and I thought, grade-wise, the Niners, for play-wise, I love the way the game panned out, right? Everything worked in the Niners' favor. They won the turnover battle. They put up 400 yards on offense. The only issue is they gave up over 400 yards on defense. They gave up a lot of yards in the air. Kudos to the Niners, man. I got to ring the bell for this because the Niners finally held a rushing attack under 100 yards. God dang it took them 5 games. But 78 yards, mother freak, let's go. Run defense was in full mother freaking effect. You know what wasn't in full effect? The pass defense, because they was getting torched down the field. And these weren't even... how Kendrick Bourne had the explosive play for the Niners for the 35 yards, right? That was a crossing route pass, and he took it and made person miss. Nah, Stafford was just chucking in, throwing it down the football field. Unfortunately, we only got to him one freaking time. I can't make this up. That's why I say the pass rush definitely needs some work. But overall, look, 26-23. I think you get hyped because you now know you have a kicker you can count on. And having Eddie Pinheiro, the Niners realize that they don't have to always necessarily be perfect, right? They just got to get their kicker and that's part of the game, right? Look, think about what I'm saying. Think about getting the ball back with 1 minute and 30 seconds left and your team is down. Or the game is tied, or your team is down by enough to where you can get a field goal to win it. And when you realize that, you're not looking to go 80 yards or 80 plus yards for a touchdown. You're looking to get the ball into field goal range into which your kicker can kick that ball through the middle. And then Eddie Pinheiro has been doing just that. I think he's 11 for 11 on the season for the San Francisco 49ers for field goal. He did miss one extra point, but ain't nobody thinking about that extra point. He scored 12 points for the 49ers in this game. His 12 points almost outscored what the Niners did offensively. Almost 14-12. It gives you 26 points, however you want to look at it. Niners offense did put up 2 touchdowns. But man, having a kicker like Eddie Pinheiro, I think the Niners have a bit of relief knowing that, they want to get to the red zone. They want to score touchdowns. But knowing that they can have a kicker that could potentially put up points, especially on the road, they'll take it. They're going to be on the road again. So, Oscar, I do agree with you. I didn't know that was the money remaining on his contract. Thank you for saying that. Daniel Garcia, shout out to Daniel. He says, is CJ West back? He is back. He did play in the game. He was ineffective. And it is, it is what it is. He's just these kids got to get reps, man. These kids got to get reps. Overall, play the game. It came down to, all right, I will say this. Player of the game. Who was your player of the game? Now, player of the game is different from play of the game. We're going to do both. So in the chat right now, who was your player of the game? I don't have a poll going on, but I'm asking you now. I'll put comments up. Members or non-members, I'll flash your comments. Members will go free to get first priority. But if you had to pick between Kendrick Bourne, Eddie Pinheiro, Mac Jones, like, who was your player of the game? I'm not even going to give you choices. I just want to know who your player of the game was. Marty Martin says, Wayne, you wasn't pissed when Kyle ran 3-run plays inside our red zone. He ran 3-run plays inside their. I'm trying to understand what you said. We ran 3-run plays inside our own red zone. Is that what you're asking me? Say it again so I could just understand. I know you're probably typing on the phone and it's tough. All right, we got to vote for Kendrick Bourne, James John the second. He's got the Boys to Men second too. That's my favorite group of all time. Snoopy, cousin Snoop says Mac 10, Big Mac. All right, or KB. He gave us the or. Corey, what's going on? KB from Big Daddy Niners. Kendrick Bourne, we got to talk about his production for sure. Mac Jones, who? I already know you singing the song. Hey, Mr. DJ, Mac Jones. Travis Witt over on Facebook says KB, Rob D, Mac just for leaving it on the field. I mean, can I stay here for a second? Because he didn't just leave it all on the field. I mean, I thought he was going to leave his pants, his jock strap. Like, when I tell you, like, I did my stuff for Bleacher Report, and I was just like, yo, that kid got beat the up. Like, he took a beating. He got hit 8 times, I believe. 8 times. In the sack. He was sacked once. Would you believe that Mac Jones wasn't sacked until overtime? Can y'all believe that? Did y'all believe that if I told you that? I was watching the film. I was like, when did he get sacked? I was like, oh, I got to watch the rest of it. It wasn't until overtime. It was on that last play before we kicked the field goal. Remember, we were damn near. We were at the 18-yard line. I thought we were going to score a touchdown. Yeah, he got sacked, which was the right thing. You don't want to turn over the ball, like, you know what I mean. But he didn't have to get sacked. I mean, Colt McKivitz just gave up the pressure. But yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. All right, player of the game for Oscar, CMC, most rush yards, second most receiving yards. Okay, KK, I like that. KB, Daniel says Eddie De Niro, me and Mr. Jones. That's my new name for Mac, so don't take that because that's me because y'all don't know nothing about that song right there. All right, Mac Jones. Fred Warner, the heart of the D. You know what's funny? I didn't think Fred had the best game, howdy, but it's your prerogative. Fred Warner will always be the heart of the defense, but Fred Warner was getting it was something wrong with the communication. Something was wrong with communication because he gave up a touchdown. I don't care what nobody says. I watched it on the film. I'm not sure if he was responsible to drop back in coverage that deep, or was he expecting the safety to help him over the top, which will go to why those guys are young. I don't know. All I know was I just didn't like Fred Warner. I didn't like any of the linebackers in coverage that day. D. Winters was even worse. D. Winters gave up the TD. All right. Okay. Yeah. We'll talk about that. KB was a dog. All right. So yeah, Kendrick Bourne. Let's talk about Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne, 11 targets, 10 receptions, 142 yards. Kendrick Bourne was the leading motherfreaking receiver this week until Stephon Diggs. Brandy, if you still watching, man, Diggs. Like, Kendrick Bourne had a week. Definitely should be NFC. Only thing he was missing was the touchdowns. He didn't get the opportunities for the touchdowns. Maybe when that drop pass, he might have been able to run that for a touchdown. But, Stephon Diggs didn't have touchdowns neither against the Patriots. I think he had 146 yards off of 10 receptions. Go figure. But anyway, I thought Kendrick Bourne, man, I don't know if it was a redemption game. It was definitely a career game. And, I know what you're asking me. I got you. I'm glad it's a live show because sometimes I'll be like, what? All right. You wanted to know, I was talking about Kendrick Bourne, but you wanted to know Marty Martin on the Empire. And correct me if I'm wrong. When we were in their end zone, right? Like we were at the goal line and then we had just got the ball back and we ran the ball and didn't do anything. Yeah, so like that was to get them to use their timeouts. If you remember, because we wanted to get them we wanted all their timeouts done or whatever, to where if they were going to beat us, they were going to have to beat us with no timeouts. And that's what we did. And if you looked at the runs, like we weren't even trying to run. We were like, we would get the ball and kind of like just get down. It was really for them to wear and use all their timeouts, which is pretty smart tactic, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, we've seen that before. Over and over again. All right, so let's go. That was player of the game. Like, a lot of KBs. I feel like KB won it. Mac Jones probably came in second. We had only one for Christian McCaffrey. Let me just say this. Christian McCaffrey is always the best player on the football field offensively. Every game. It's not even a question. We don't win the games without his screens. We don't win the games without his pass protection. And I hate to say it, he's the best running back on the football field too. So at the end of the day, like, he's that dude. But I'm not going to take anything away from Kendrick Bourne. Just like my man Howdy, not going to take. Fred Warner is the best player defensively every single week. But did we have an outlier this week? And I don't think so, man. I was a little bit upset with Demo's 3 holding calls defensively, and he was grabbing. You know, during the game, I'm like, yo, he ain't grabbing. Then when I go back and watch the film, I'm like, oh, he grabbed. So you got to be better, man, because those are giving teams opportunities. They're giving them first downs. I know they only 5-yard penalties, but those are automatic first downs, especially when they happen on a third down, right? It's like the worst feeling in the world. So, Demo, yeah, he's not giving up touchdowns. He's not giving up, big plays down the football field, but those little ticky-tacky 5-yard defensive hold penalties keeps his defense on the football field longer. That's not great. That's not good at all. So, hopefully he tightens that up, right? Like, hopefully he tightens that up. I mean, look, he was dealing with Devontae Adams, Tutu Atwell. Like, he was dealing with everything. They threw everything at him. I get it. Now he's gonna have to deal with the rookie because I'm putting him on Emeka. Like, I put somebody else guard Chris Godwin, Ronaldo Green. You get Godwin, and boom, you take, because that kid is electrifying, and I'd be damned if he beat us over the top. That Seattle defense I watched last night, I don't know what the hell that was. That's not happening to the Niners. I can tell you that right now. So if you're a Tampa Bay fan and you watching this show, that shit ain't happening. I said shit because that shit not happening. We're not getting beat. Not like that. You're going to have to beat us chunking and ducking and dinking and dunking. Like that, you ain't beating us over the top. Nobody beating us over the top. Nobody. Only team beating the Niners over the top is the San Francisco 49ers. That's it. I can tell you that right now. All right. Defensively, they gave up too many explosive plays for me. And I'll get into some of the good, the bad, and the ugly. But if I had to pick a person that stand out, I mean, Bryce Huff continues to find ways to shine. I mean, he had the one all-in-all sack, no interceptions, obviously, in this game. Heads up by Travis Gibson for getting that fumble. But the play of the game, hands down play of the game, had to be that goal line stop. Had to be. Because just think about it like this, right? And I'm going to put that goal line club punch out. I'm going to put that up there. You guys remember a linebacker for the San Francisco 49ers? He wore number 50. His name was Gary Plummer. Y'all remember him? Remember that goal line stop he had where the running back, can't remember who the running back was because I just remember the play. And all I remember was the running back tried to go up over top. And Gary Plummer met him at the top. And he hit him, bear hugged him so hard that ball came out. Then the Niners returned that for a touchdown. I can't remember what happened after. That's why I got y'all here. I know it's going to pop up in the chat soon. But do y'all remember when Gary Plummer said, no, and rejected the goal line stop with the running back trying to go over on the top? Now, this was a little bit different because Kyron Williams, I'm going to tell you right now, he had a touchdown. That was a touchdown. He was about to be in on the touchdown. Woo! Golly. But, man, you just saw this big 95 arm come out of nowhere. It was in slow motion, too. It was like, and I was like, damn. Man, he knocked that ball straight out. I don't even know how he knew to go for the ball. I didn't even know you could. Like, it looked like he was about, like, it looked like a fight. He was about to punch the cat. Like, that's what it was. Like, I know he was going for the ball. But dang, that was a big play. That was a big play. And that, to me, is, I think Lee Woodall ran it back. It was on Derek Holmes. You guys are awesome. Lee Woodall, 54. See? Stuff coming back to my memory. He ran it back, but Gary Plummer put the hit. It was a hit. I don't think that was a penalty. I don't think it was I thought it was a touchdown. Maybe I'm wrong. All I know is a hit. It's goal line play. Whew, what a stop. That kind of reminded me of it. We've seen Fred Warner do it too. We saw the big hit by Dre Greenlaw on the goal line. There's been some goal line plays. Thank you. It was versus Buffalo. I remember now. I remember it now. I just needed some of those things to come back to my memory. You know what I'm saying? All I know is Gary Plummer hit that mother. Go look it up. He hit him so hard, that ball came flying out. And the dude knew he had a touchdown. He did not expect Gary Plummer to jump over the top with him. And he met him. He met him at the apex. I remember that joint, yo. And Lee Woodall picked it up in return for a touchdown. See, I knew the context of it. I just didn't know necessarily like everything. All right, look, grade-wise, let me know what you guys. We usually go over the PFF grades every single week. This week is a little bit different because the game happened a lot earlier. But let's go through the audience, man. You guys on the live show, what would you grade the 49ers offense? They did put up 14 points. Here's some of the things you don't necessarily may not know. They were 2 for 5 in the red zone. That's 40% in the red zone. Not really kicking. I mean, you get there 5 times, you only put up a couple of touchdowns. And I know it's not easy, but the Niners got to the goal line a couple of times. I mean, you got to punch it in from the 1 or the 2, right? You cannot get in from the 1 or the 2. You know, the Niners, man, they got to figure that out, man. That's a question mark for me. But offensively, I think I gave the offense a B. I see some B's in here. I like it. B's, B minus, B. I like it. All right, let's go. A C plus. All right, we got a real grade out there. C plus. I could dig it. Maybe because of the goal line stuff, right? I mean, they were 7 for 18 on third down. 39%, I think that's what that is. Not really good. But here's where they were good. Fourth down, they were 3 for 3, 100% on fourth down. Every time they went for on fourth down, they got it. And that was kind of like working in their favor, right? So B minus, B. Always leave it up to Oscar to break it down in the sections, right? A for the passing game, D for the running game, C for red zone offense, A for special teams, total B minus. All right, let's go with the defensive side. You guys giving it an A, B, C, D, or F. For me, my offensive grade was a solid B. I thought my defensive grade I would give a solid B to as well. Maybe even a B minus. They gave up too many explosive plays. They also gave up 3 touchdowns. And they also gave up 400 and something plus yards. I just expected more from the defense. But they did make plays when plays needed to have been made. I sat here and got on Demo all game for those holding calls. I mean, they were trying to test him, but man, if you didn't see that PBU on Puka Nacua toward the end of the game that helped the Niners seal the deal, that kind of erased everything else for me, right? But it's just like putting yourself in that predicament is what I didn't like. And so Demo kind of redeemed himself off that PBU. We got a lot of B's on the defense. I think B for the defense for sure, you know, is something that I can say. I can't give them an A, Drew. They didn't play A football for me. I think this is a C plus for the defense. The N was enough for me. B plus for me. She said the N was enough for me. That's all we need. You know, and that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, defense was a C plus, a passing grade. Bend don't break. Yeah, that's what I got. And I mean, I guess sometimes, look, you're missing your premier pass rushing, edge setting player. I'm not expecting this defense to be B+ weekend, A+ weekend, and week out. Like, I'm just not even expecting that. I've lowered my expectations because you went from one game where you have 5 total pressures with 0 sacks and 0 quarterback hits to a game where you have more of a steady kind of quarterback, not necessarily mobile guy, kind of staying in the pocket. You were only able to get 16 pressures and still 1 sack, 1 hit. So you didn't really, the pressures were there, but you really didn't do anything to rattle Matthew Stafford. And so my concern is, well, what the they going to do against Baker Mayfield? The cat moves. The cat stands in the pocket. And so I'm a little out there wait, man, I need the defense to kind of third week without Bosa. They need to be figuring that shit out, right? All right, this is what we're going to do. We got to hit him. Hit the quarterback. I mean, look, if I'm the defense, if I'm Robert Saleh, I'm hit the quarterback, make sure it's a legal hit, no late flags, blah, 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 blah. Make sure you get a hit on this quarterback. You got to get a hit on the quarterback. Baker, he's not at his healthiest stance. You got to hit him. You got to hit him. Because if not, he's going to look to throw the ball down the field. It's going to end up being a shootout. You got to find a way to get to Baker Mayfield. It's not just about sacking him. I want sacks, but you got to hit the quarterback. Mac Jones, can we put a beating on a quarterback? If I'm Mac Jones, I would pay the defense. Listen, man, you see what those guys did to me? I want you to go out there and do that to them. That's me. That's just me. That's just me off the cusp. You know what I'm saying? That's just me off the cusp. All right, so overall, I think B for the defense. So BB so far. We with the BBB. Can we hit the triple Bs? Special teams, are we going to hit it with the B too? I mean, what are you guys looking at special teams grades? I thought special teams played really well, minus that little blip toward the end, but the coverage was good. The punts were good. Field goals were great. I give the special teams a B+, actually, for me. That is my thing. Special teams, B+. What are your thoughts on the special teams? And that's good. I told you, Brent Boyer just need his guys, man. Once those guys got to become starters, that shit goes down the drain. A, we got an A for special teams. All right, B, B. We got some Bs, B-, B. Ooh, we in there. B for special teams. They did well overall. Yeah, man, I thought coverage was great. I thought it was great. We didn't turn the ball over, and kicking was phenomenal. The field goals, under pressures, one something doinked in, but at the end of the day, it went in, right? And so I thought special teams, Howdy says B+, best game all year. I'm with you guys. All right, I'm with you. So overall, I think the Niners, they played well enough to win, and they did win. But man, if one little simple thing would have went the wrong way, they probably would have lost the game. If let's just be honest, if Alfred Collins don't punch that ball out, then the Rams are scoring a touchdown on that drive. And then now the pressure would have been on the Niners. Now, I'm not saying we wouldn't have won that game. It just would have been a pressure situation, and who knows what would have happened after that. But, overall, look, coaching B, special teams B, defense B, offense B, and they're going to need to bring their A+ game on the road in Tampa Bay this week. You know what I'm saying? On the road in Tampa Bay. All right, let's talk about this news report, because Niner Faithful says Mac seen a dead body before the game too from his hotel room. Yeah, so the report came out and said that Mac saw a dead body floating in the water. Wow. What the freak is going on? Maybe that's why he threw up. Maybe we thought he was throwing up because he was, what's the word, dehydrated and all that good stuff. No, maybe it just finally hit him I got to get this out of my system. I ain't telling nobody yet. You know what I mean? What? Just imagine keeping that shit in your body, system, mind for that long period of time before you finally release it. I think his body was just we got to get this out of our system. You got a little throw up on the football field. Players do it all the time. We just don't see it, but players do it all the time. All right, all the time. Now, I got a question for you guys before we get into some of the NFL standings and the Niners being in first place. What will happen first? The interception or the rushing touchdown? And it's kind of crazy that, the Niners have turnovers, but they don't have an interception. And the Niners are able to score, but they don't have a rushing TD. I mean, we don't even have a quarterback push touchdown on the goal line. And we've been there. And so I'm curious to know, what do you think is going to happen first? Will we get the rushing TD, or will we get the freaking, interception? Now, both are in play. Like, both can be in play. Like, you know what I'm saying? I see that comment from Frank G about Mark Sanchez. That's funny. Filthy Casual says rushing TD will happen first. Big Daddy Niners rushing TD. How short? Like, if I had to ask y'all what percentage of the rushing TD will happen, what would you say? Because now, I know I see Peachy, Mike, rushing TD. You can run on Tampa. Can you? All right. This is not that show, but since we here and y'all still rocking with me, make sure that like button is smashed. I want to check the run defenses right now. I want to see where Tampa Bay is on the run defenses. Peachy says you can run on them, but they top 10. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Top freaking 10. Top 10. They give up on average 92.4 yards per game. Vita Vea in the middle, man. It's tough. It's tough. It's gonna be tough. Hence why I think bringing back George Kittle makes you just got to do it. Got to get back to this outside zone running. But you know what, PG? Any given Sunday, so you're probably right. You can't run on this defense. It's tough though. I'm just thinking about it. All right, let me just see the teams that we beat, and let me just see the teams that we played. Who has the top 10 run defense? All right, here we go. Jacksonville Jaguars, number 3. Couldn't run on them. Seattle Seahawks, number 4. We ran on them collectively, but Christian McCaffrey didn't have 100 yards. Who else did we play? Arizona Cardinals, number 9. All right. They're tied with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then guess what? The Rams are 11. So we've played against all the games that we played in are like top 12 run defenses. You got to be shitting me. It's going to give at some point. Like, you're right. It's definitely going to give at some point. It's going to give at some point. Hopefully that rushing TD. Nobody is saying interception. Oh, the one says pick 6 next week. Baker gives it up. I want the pick 6. Ooh, I like that. I like that take right there, man. Hold on to that take. We should have had the interceptions a long time ago, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. You're absolutely freaking right. It's just so hard for that, that run offense to really get going, especially around the red zone. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So we'll see what happens. I'll definitely be breaking down the percentages, like what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do in the red zone if the Niners are able to get to the red zone. I do know that the Niners red zone offense is under 40%. It's not under, it's at like around 40%. So that's kind of like where they are. And so that's throwing and running, so the Niners got to figure out a way to score, because the one thing I love about the Niners is that they're able to get down there. I guess the field shrinks so much for them, and the creativity needs to just be turned up just a touch, right? Turn up the creativity. Love what I saw with the pass from to Christian McCaffrey. The Jake Tonjes, he was wide open. Like, where's that? And I'm cool throwing it. I'm cool if you're going to throw it. But the Niners got to figure out a way to run, because the defenses are, once they play pass, luckily in the red zones, it's harder to play pass. We can't drop back guys that much. But it's definitely going to be interesting. Personally, if I had to pick one, I think the interception happens. I'm just gonna go out and say I think the interception happens. Now, I got a question. Says, what trade do you think we are gonna get at the trade deadline? Well, so here's what makes this interesting, right? The question is, what will the Niners' record be at the trade deadline? If they continue to find ways to win, I'm not sure that they're gonna go all in on one of those big names, especially pass rushers. I do think they trade for a pass rusher. They've done it. History does a good job at repeating itself. The last time they traded for a pass rusher, his name was Chase Young. Look for a guy like that with that type of contract. So now we're talking the Kayvon Thibodeau's, maybe the Will McDonald's, McDonald, I think that's how you say his name. Maybe those guys. Those are the guys, like Oscar talked about him a little bit earlier, the Jets pass rusher, because those guys will be on expiring contracts, and if they get, signed to another team, guess what the Niners get? A comp pick. So it's all about the formula. Like, they're not going to be all in on a Bradley Chubb because of the money situation. They're not going to go all in on a Trey Hendrickson because they're already paying a premier pass rusher, right? So they're not going to do that. And they're not going to spend $15-20 million to rent a guy. Like, that's just not common sense. And so I think the San Francisco 49ers will look to trade for a guy that they feel like they can get some upside for. They could potentially sign him that next year, but I don't think that's going to really be in their plans. And once that person goes to another team and signs, the Niners will be compensated with a compensatory pick. It's just kind of the way it is, It's the way the Niners have been doing business. It's just the way that they've been doing business. All right, so the NFL trade deadline, November 4th, 1 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 4 p.m. Eastern time is the trade deadline. So we play on November 2nd. We play the Giants. And then that Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, or Tuesday, is the trade deadline. Tuesday afternoon is the trade deadline. So we'll see what happens, man. Bradley Chubb makes sense, but it doesn't make sense on the money, right? I not from what Oscar put in here. I would love to go get Bradley Chubb. I think that is what the Niners need. He will command doubles. He will command attention, and then you could go back to using Michael how you had planned on using Michael. You know what I'm saying? And so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the 49ers. As far as running backs, I think the Niners have their running backs in their stable, and it's just time to kind of like let loose and see who's going to go down. See what's going to go down for the San Francisco 49ers. But the big names on there, Mark Andrews, I believe, Njoku, because they got their rookie tight end now. Jacoby Myers was looking to be moved. Bradley Chubb from the Dolphins. And then Alvin Kamara. Alvin freaking Kamara. You know what I'm saying? Rob D says, check out Johnny's show. I'll check it out as soon as I'm done. And I'll check it out, and we'll see how it works. And if it can work, I say, why the freak not? But Bradley Chubb is number one on my list because that guy is pure pass rushing dominance. And that's what the Niners are missing. And we've been talking about pressure. And so, yeah, we went from 5 to 16. So we had 11 more pressures. You got one more hit and one more quarterback hurry. I'm expecting some of those, one more hit and one sack. I'm sorry. I'm expecting some of those pressures to be hits. Right? We gave up 16 pressures offensively, but if 8 or 9 of them were hits, that's why the game was the way it was. It was close because they were hitting Mac Jones. We gotta get back to that. We gotta go back to like affecting the throws as well. Now, you know me, I'm a sack guy. I want the sacks, right? I want the finishing, but I'll take pressure as far as hits, not just hurries. Hurries don't always work in the Niners' favor because now once the quarterback is outside the pocket, if they're mobile, they're going to run up. They're going to run forward. If they're not mobile, they're still looking to complete the throw. And it just seems like the Niner defense always breaks down at the last second, and then boom, it's a completed pass. So, yeah, they were pressured, they were hurried, but it didn't really do anything. So, we got to figure that out. Guys, you have been extra faithful with your boy Breezy. I appreciate you, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Wayne Breezie Show. Round of applause to everybody out there on this live show. We got the game plan on Friday, I believe, with John Chapman. I know he's going to Tampa, so I got to double check in with him. I will be on his show. I'll be on Steph's show this Thursday coming up. We got Nitty Gritty Niners this Wednesday. We got the What's Your Fantasy Football show on Tuesday. So there's stuff going on the channel all week long, all day, every single day. And check out the short videos that I do for Bleacher Report. They are here, right here on the channel. So feel free to check those out. There's smaller clips of shows and things like that. Just really my takes on certain things. But the good, the bad, the ugly for the Niners before we get up out of here is simply this. I like when the game is like good, little bad, very little ugly. And that's where the Niners have been for the past couple of games, pretty much all season. The Niners have been, a lot of good for the San Francisco 49ers, and when I look at the good, I say Kendrick Bourne was phenomenal. We talked about him earlier in the show. 10 passes, 142 yards. You talk about a game where he had 3-4 drops, and then he comes back in and he gets 10 receptions and 1 drop. I love it. Mac Jones throwing for a pair of touchdowns while taking a crazy beating and dropping back 49 times. Like, did he really drop back 49 times? I mean, we might get to the 50 mark in this upcoming game. Eddie P went 4 for 4 from field goal. Like, that's career 59 yards. These are all good moments. The defense had a forced fumble and 2 fumble recoveries in this game. So the defense helped generate 2 turnovers. Shout out to Alfred Collins on the punch out, Travis Gibson on the awareness of jumping on that ball with the forced fumble, kind of like being forced by the presence of Sam Okuwano, right? Like Blake Corum was like, not this big motherfucker, and he just didn't catch the ball on the handoff. Bad, the offense still can't really run the ball. They average 2.2 yards, 74 yards in this game, no rushing touchdowns again. I mean, it's just not good. And then red zone offense is just 40%. And it has to be better. You get there 5 times, I need at least 4 out of the 5 to be touchdowns. Minimum 3. 3 out of 5 I could live with. Like, you know what I mean? But 2 out of 5 is just like, 1 out of 5 would have been horrendous. So they were a little bit better than 1. And then I thought that the defense gave up too many explosive plays down the field. So that's your bad. And then the ugly, honestly, the penalties, they were dumb. A lot of the penalties were dumb. A lot of the penalties were self-inflicted wounds that the San Francisco 49ers were putting on themselves from the false starts. The only penalty that I felt like wasn't necessarily a player's fault was the illegal man down the football field. And I'm not an offensive lineman, but I do know this. That offensive lineman is expecting that ball to be out of the quarterback's hands. So he's down the field blocking, and it wasn't. And it was a flag on Colt McKivitz, I believe. But the Niners, I mean, it was only for 44 yards, but they got to clean up the penalty. And those were the ones that stood. There were tons of penalties in this game. Trust me. Only 8 counted for the San Francisco 49ers. So that's something ugly that you have to look into. Injuries, again, they lost more depth, more rotational pieces. Khalil Davis is going to be missing some time. Yetur Gross-Matos is going to be missing some time. Other players got hurt. And then just Mac Jones getting hit 9 times. I think that's ugly. I think that's ugly to me. The Niners offensive line has to do a better job at protecting their quarterback. Whoever the quarterback is, they have to do a better job at protecting the quarterback. Now, some of those quarterback hits is going to be on the quarterback because they're just standing in that pocket ready for that last second to throw that ball. I get it. But they got to do a better job of protecting the quarterback. They're doing a good job of not getting the quarterback sacked, but they got to try to lay off some of those hits because there was one big hit in this game that Colt McKivitz was the worst offensive lineman in this game, hands down. I mean, he just could not deal with the speed-power ratio combo of Byron Young. Who was the player that I told everybody to watch out for? Everybody kept saying Jared Verse. I was like, no, it's number 0. It's number 0. It's number 0. He had the pick 6 last year. It's just number 0. Listen, when I follow a kid from the Senior Bowl, trust me when I say that's the kid you want to watch out for because that's probably the kid that I was hoping that the Niners would draft. Got to watch my Senior Bowl stuff, man. I don't go there just for my funs and giggles. I'm really there to evaluate. I'm not a scout, but I'm there to evaluate talent. And I feel like that's something that I want to do with my life. So Byron Young was a beast. And he continues to be a beast against the San Francisco 49ers. He was just killing Colt McKivitz out there on the edge. It just shows on the tape. So that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll put out a video clip of that as well. VZ says, how you feel about the season so far? Man, I'm hella optimistic, right? Because the Niners are winning. And they're doing it without key players. I think that's the thing for me, right? They're winning without key players. Damn, if you would have told me the Niners could win games without their starting quarterback, I would have been like, nah, the backups never win. And then I realized, well, Mac Jones he's not a backup. He's a starting quarterback. Mac Jones should be starting for a team in the NFL. I can tell you right now, the Niners are, and I put out a video. I think the Niners got lucky. Matter of fact, it's right here on the YouTube. Check it out. It's just a shorter, the lucky 2-year deal with Mac Jones. Ain't no way Mac's gonna want to stay in that deal. I think he has to. They got a 2-year deal on Mac Jones, and they're finding ways to win with Mac Jones with their starter rehabbing from the toe injury. So I'm super hella optimistic, man. I'm loving what I'm seeing, taking it one game at a time. Are the Niners going to have some bad moments and losses and things? Probably, but I'm hopeful that they'll continue to figure out ways to win. If this is a gritty season for us, then it's just a gritty season for us. I mean, grit makes a team better anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you need grit as foundation to make the team better. And if you missed the beginning of the show, the Niners are hoping to open the practice window for the 49ers. Niner Faithful says, what do you think about the roughing no pass? Yeah, like I thought it was bull. It was a missed call. It was I don't know how the officials missed it. I'm not mad at the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, I'm not mad at the Rams for it, but I'm mad that the refs missed it. I am. It should have been called. I've seen weaker stuff get called, and to see that not get called with the guy that literally just body weight. I know he put his hands up, but he knew because he had a free pass at the quarterback. And it's a different football, right? Because back in the day, you're not calling that. But in today's rules, you're calling that. And for them to not call that, I thought that was kind of messed up. You know what I'm saying? And so it is what it is. Mac Jones overcame it. More adversity for the Niners to overcome, and they continue to find ways to win. I mean, I think that's who we are. You know what I mean? Oscar says his name is not Allen, Mahomes, or Stafford. I mean, there you go. Like, I didn't want to say it, but if it was any other name, yeah, even Jalen Hurts. Why? Because they feel like those guys run the ball and they can take the hits. What? I ain't never seen Mac Jones where he ran the ball one time in his career, twice in his career. I don't know. He just didn't get the call, But kudos again to Mac Jones for going out there, taking a beating, taking a licking, and kept on ticking. I got to give it. I tip my hat to that guy. That is one tough that is one tough guy, man. Guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate it, man. Our time is up here. I'll be working on some other stuff for you guys for sure. Make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching. Also, become a member of the Breezy Bunch crew so you can take advantage of all the cool perks like the show shout outs and things like that. Before we go, we got one super chat contribution. Shout out to Mark Lamar and the building. What's going on, man? Thank you for the super chat contribution. Again, these do help and go a long way since we can't let Mac out of the building. That's all I'm gonna say. Bro, he here for a whole nother year, bro. Like, he can't go nowhere. Where he gonna go? Where he gonna sit out? What he gonna do? And 2-year deal? Wow. He got fleeced. But I tell you what, he's learning football. He's having fun, and he's getting his opportunities right now. And shout out to Mac Jones because he was a real one in the presser. And basically, just to sum it all up, he says, this is Purdy's job. He says, I knew what role I was doing when I signed up. I love that kid, man. And I'm glad he's here. I'm glad the Niners were able to like kind of like re-wrap around who they had planned in the draft. Look, and if you don't think that's a 49ers thing, Christian McCaffrey is here. There are tons of players that the 49ers wanted to draft that are on this roster right now. So let that sink in. Love y'all, man. Keep it faithful to the Bay. Until the next time, man, I'll see y'all faithful. Peace.
What's up, faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.